This conversation takes place between an IRS auditor and a businessman who just happen to be old rivals from high school and college. They didn't like each other then and definitely don't like each other now. But they have one thing in common. They love money. The only thing is that they are up to their old antics and can't agree to disagree. Principles and interest are just one of the many topics in this conversation that the two can't find a common ground on.
Well, well, look who it is. The IRS actually does work between the hours of 9 and 5?
Yes, they do. And wouldn't you be special enough to get a job as one? Oh, wait. The IRS doesn't hire people that can't count to 10.
Funny. What brings you to the office?
It just so happens that there are some problems with last year's tax return, and I need to speak to your CFO about it. Oh, that's you, isn't it? I knew this job was going to be an easy one.
What's the issue anyway?
Well, your first issue is something simple. The IRS wants people to stop thinking that the money in your pocket is actually yours. It has always belonged to the government.
That's a bad way of looking at it, but I can see it as being true.
Let's skip with the formalities. The first issue were with the principles and numbers your company calculated for the interest.
Are you going to explain yourself, or just stand there and look pretty?
Well, for one, the numbers and the related expenses were all over the place. Whoever did it had the right concept. The related expenses are a percentage of each principal, and the fixed related expenses were for the framework.
So what's the problem, besides you standing here wasting my time?
Besides the fact that the expenses are denoted as percentages on lines 12, 17, and 32, well, 15 lines were calculated wrong. The calculations the company had listed showed the interest amount every month decreasing on each principal. The effective nominal interest should have been the interest amount every month increasing on each principal.
Sort of like my headache is increasing with every word you speak, right?
Right. It's almost like the headaches I used to get when I looked at you during our high school years. I try not to think about those days, but nightmares are hard to get rid of sometimes. On a serious note, I see that your company had a couple of issues with telling customers about the level of adjusted interest. It looks like there were 2 warnings.
Yes, I'm aware of that. The company thought that since they were not obligated by law to inform the consumer about the level of effective interest, they were also not obligated to do so about the level of adjusted interest.
I see. Whose call was that?
Not mine.
I'm sure it wasn't. Let me get off subject a little bit. What do you think about the issues with inflation in today's economy?
Well, it's not great to go to the gas station and have to spend $5 per gallon. We all know what that means. Gas goes up and everything else goes up.
Kind of like your ego?
Well, if you've got it, you need to flaunt it.
The price index is something you need to pay attention to, instead of your ego. The stock market isn't all that great, and knowing what every company is worth is very important. Just a little piece of friendly advice. Who knows? Maybe it'll help you make the kind of money I make.
Walter, you are so poor that I'm not really sure you could even pay attention.
Well, you know, money isn't technically the greatest thing in the world. Love is. But you know something? I love money.
Well, Walter, look, money may not bring you the happiness you want, but it may at least help you be comfortably miserable. Oh, one question. When were all those infractions?
During the first quarter. Why?
I hate to burst your bubble, but I just started this job in last year's third quarter. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.